Time for part 2. In this video, I'll be covering getting the supercharger itself ready to be installed on the car. This process is mostly about transferring things from the old intake manifold onto the supercharger. I'm also going to cover the install of the ID1050X, the high flow fuel injectors I installed. The process is basically identical to the stock injectors, but I'll cover the one or two minor differences. In this video, I'm also going to show you probably the biggest pain in the butt, time suck little issue I ran into during the install. It involved the PCV hose and how it sealed to the supercharger manifold, or rather how it didn't seal the first time around. You'll see in the video. I'm going to cover how I fixed that problem too. Hope you guys enjoy. Thanks. Two quick notes. Make sure you save one of these bolts so that you can use it to reinstall the evap solenoid onto the supercharger. Second, the hose connecting the evap solenoid to the intake manifold was by far the most stubborn hose I had to deal with throughout this entire project. I needed to break out both a heat gun and a pry tool to get it off, so be prepared ahead of time. You may need the big guns for this one. Stubborn, but heat and prying managed to get it off. Right, and just to do a quick overview of the supercharger itself, just weighed it. The unit weighs 47.8 pounds, which is actually fairly light, all things told. We have the OEM 85 millimeter pulley on the front of it. This should generate somewhere in the 6 to 8 pounds of boost range at peak. These are the charge coolers located on either side. The actual compressor unit is housed underneath here. These are the runners running into the intake ports. On the back of the passenger rear side runner, there's a 1/8 NPT plug. We can use this to thread in a connector so that we can read boost for the boost controller or boost gauge or anything along those lines. Over here we have the location for the MAP sensor along with the IAT sensor. This comes pre-installed. Moving on to the bottom of the unit, we have the actuator for the recirc valve here. This guy's vacuum operated, so there's a vacuum hose running to just behind where the throttle body connects in front of the actual compressor unit. There is a second port on it that we're going to be running a vacuum tube to. Between this and the boost controller, there's ports here into the pre-compressor part of the unit for the evap hookup and for the PCV hookup. I've got this plug in the throttle body space for the manifold, and then I have a smoke machine. I'm going to be hooking up there. Just going to run a smoke test for a few minutes, make sure I don't have any leaks anywhere, because I would rather be dealing with a potential boost leak now than after I have the whole thing together and running. That would be a pain. And unfortunately, my smoke test is showing me I do have a leak from where the PCV hose is connected to the manifold.
In my case, I identified two potential causes for this problem. The first is that the PCV fitting was slightly misclocked, causing the hose to make contact with the alternator and deform it. I addressed this by reclocking the fitting. The second is that the hose itself was a little bit loose on the fitting. I addressed this by putting a worm clamp on it. Chances are just the worm clamp by itself would have solved the problem, so I suggest doing this from the get-go when you're installing the PCV hose onto the supercharger. Just to be clear, you only need to attach a hose to this fitting if you are planning on running a boost controller. It's important to use a lubricant on the O-rings and seals for the fuel injectors in order to make sure that they seal correctly and to make sure that they aren't damaged during installation. I used a silicone-based O-ring grease that's safe to use in fuel systems. Chances are you can find this pretty easily at any auto parts store or obviously on Amazon.